a microwave. The water molecules in your body would heat up because of the radiation being beamed at you. Your skin would start to burn and blister, and you'd quickly go blind. Your organs would boil and then break open, causing internal bleeding. And gas pockets in your digestive system would expand until your stomach burst. Within just a few minutes, your body would be destroyed, and you'd be cooked from the inside out. They watched the mysterious man move into the village, and soon enormous stones appeared on his land. Every time they looked, a new one would be there, stacked perfectly on top of the others. Now, these stones weighed up to 21 tons each, but there were never any other workers or machinery, and since he worked in secret, no one ever saw how he was moving them. When they asked, he claimed he knew the ancient secrets. If you bought every possible lottery number, would it guarantee that you would win the jackpot? Well, one guy actually tried this. He set up a lottery business and bought ticket machines that would print out about 100 tickets every 10 seconds. Each one cost $1, and since there were 26 million possible combinations, he spent $26 million on his plan. When the lottery was finally drawn, he of course had the winning ticket, and after expenses, he still made over $30 million. But after that, they changed the rules, meaning you can't try this yourself. Slide 20 cigarettes into the metal frame, packed tightly side by side. Each one connects to a funnel that feeds into a single metal mouthpiece. To light them, you strike a match and run it across the row, igniting all 20 at once. Smoke pours through the chamber and into the narrow tube. When you take a drag, air pulls through every cigarette at the same time, which means with every breath, you're inhaling an entire pack, as if one cigarette wasn't deadly enough. Slide 20. They cut off his hands as punishment, then sent him back to his people with instructions to surrender. But the warrior convinced them to keep fighting, and instead of sitting out the battle, he sealed his wounds with hot metal. Next, he tied knives to his wrists, and when they went to war, he cut down his enemy, including the general's second in command. Eventually, his people were defeated, but even though they lost, the warrior fought till the very end. Inside, a gas generator ignites, creating a blast of hot gas that turns the water at the bottom into steam, pushing the nuke out of the launch tube. It rockets upward, breaking through the ocean's surface in just seconds. Once it's clear of the water, the missile's first stage engines ignite, propelling the missile high into the upper atmosphere. Then it detaches, and the second stage engine fires, sending it even farther and faster. Finally, the third stage carries the warheads into space. There, they separate and begin falling back to Earth, each locked in on its own target. Inside, your teeth come loose, falling out into your hand one by one. Now, this is one of the most common nightmares people have. You see, teeth can be a symbol of strength and appearance. And since they're one of the first things people notice, losing them feels like losing control. So some people think this is your brain's way of processing stress. But in reality, it actually happens when you clench your teeth while sleeping. You see, your brain takes these physical feelings and weaves them into vivid dreams of your teeth falling out, trying to make sense of the pain while you sleep. It was longer than a school bus and could open its mouth wide enough to swallow a full-grown human. And this is how it compares to the biggest snake alive today. Its body was thicker than a barrel, and it would be as high as your waist if you stood next to it. It would wrap itself around a massive crocodile, crushing it hard enough to rupture organs before swallowing it whole in a single bite. The boat shattered in half as the enemy ship tore through it, and the crew were thrown into the water. The commander saw that one man was injured and pulled him along using only his teeth. After swimming for miles, they finally reached a small island, but they had no way to call for help, and it took days for locals to find them. The commander carved a message into a coconut and sent them to nearby forces, who finally rescued the soldiers. And that man would become the 35th president of the United States. The boat, you would be pinned flat on your back with your arms and legs stretched out to each side. Then, a heavy wooden board would be placed across your chest and stomach. Large stones were slowly stacked onto the board, adding more and more weight. As the stones piled up, the pressure on your body increased, making breathing extremely difficult and painful. This continued for hours or even days until you agreed to plead guilty. And if you still refused, they would add enough weight to crush your chest inwards, slowly killing you. You would be pinned.
What is an East?
He slipped on the high heels, adjusted his wig, and walked nervously past the guards. You see, he had switched clothes with his wife while she was visiting. Dressed fully as a woman, the prisoner hoped this disguise would get him out unnoticed. And he actually made it through the checkpoint without suspicion, but he couldn't walk well in high heels, stumbling as he moved outside the gates. Guards nearby spotted his awkward steps, realized who he was, and they arrested him on the spot. The bird swallows the sharp rocks after eating its prey, and these end up inside its stomach. Now, this is because it doesn't have teeth to chew with, meaning the bones in its food could puncture its intestines. But if it eats these rocks, they'll rub against the bones. This slowly crushes them, allowing them to be digested. And once the stones are smoothed out, the bird will spit them out and swallow new ones.